Death, skulls, and skeletons. Bryce, what's the first holiday that you think of?
Dia de los Muertos?
I was assuming that you would say Halloween because that's traditionally what we celebrate in America. However, in the Mexican culture, a student might answer and say El Dia de los Muertos. El Dia de los Muertos is one of the most important holidays in the Mexican culture. My own passion for the Mexican culture began about 5 years ago when I lived in Washington State in an area populated by mostly Mexicans. And my passion has continued to grow through making friends, and I actually hope to one day major in Spanish. Today I will be sharing the history of El Dia de los Muertos, decorations and their meanings, and foods traditionally associated with the holiday. First, the history behind what this holiday is and what makes it so important. El Dia de los Muertos is a holiday celebrated in Latino culture, mainly in Mexico, to bring the dead back to earth. The holiday takes place on November 1st, All Saints' Day, and November 2nd, All Souls' Day in the Catholic calendar. Festivities that take place demonstrate love and respect for deceased family members. On November 1st, family members celebrate at home to welcome the deceased back through ofrendas, which are altars. And November 2nd, they move to the gravesite to weed and clean around the headstone and put the dead back to rest. In some larger cities in Mexico, festivities will last up to a week and will include parades and often have tons of street vendors painting faces and selling goods. Logan Ward, a writer for National Geographic, wrote in his article titled Top 10 Things to Know About the Day of the Dead, published on October 26, 2017 in National Geographic magazine, that the Aztec, Toltec, and other Navajo people celebrated the lives of their past loved ones thousands of years ago. They believe that mourning the dead shows disrespect and that the living must attend to the dead so that the dead will protect the living. Next, I will talk about how the holiday is celebrated through decorations. According to Gina Franco and Christopher Poore, writers for American Magazine, wrote in their article titled Dia de los Muertos, A Day to Celebrate Life by Reclaiming Death, published November 27, 2017 on AmericanMagazine.org, that the ofrenda is the most important part of the celebration of Dia de los Muertos since it is to these altars that the departed ones return. Ofrendas are altars decorated with offerings, and these offerings often include water and drinks for the long journey, the family member's favorite food, photo of the deceased family member, and a candle for the deceased family member. These ofrendas can be simple, as this one shown. They can be more complex, and it can take up to weeks or months to prepare these elaborate ofrendas. The next most important decoration is marigolds. Bright and lively, marigolds guide the lost souls from the land of the dead back to the realm of the living. Marigolds often will cover ofrendas, streets, all the way to the gravesite. Another important decoration is papel picado, or pierced paper. This is just tissue paper that is carved with intricate designs using a chisel and hammer. They are often draped around altars and hung in the streets. These are most important because they represent the fragility of life. The last most important decoration is the costumes. According to Dane Marlassen, a writer for Latin Chamber magazine, wrote in his article titled Dia de los Muertos, Celebrating Life Through Day of the Dead, published fall 2013 in Latin Chamber magazine, that Calavera Catrina was created by Jose Guadalupe as a joke showing how obsessed the Mexican culture had become with European styles in the 1910s. However, his cartoon of Catrina was widely loved, and her style blew up in popularity, becoming what is now known as the symbol of Dia de los Muertos today. Another common costume seen are the ones worn by dancers in parades. They have bright and lively colored dresses, and they only paint half their face, representing both life and death. Finally, let's explore some of the best foods associated with the holiday. Most oftentimes on the ofrenda, one will find the deceased loved one's favorite food, pan de muerto, which is bread of the dead, which is pictured here. And these are usually decorated with bones and skulls made of dough, and usually the bones may be arranged in a circle representing the circle of life. You will also find atole, which is a thick, hot porridge made to drink, and it's made from corn flour, cane sugar, cinnamon, and vanilla. Pulque is a sweet fermented drink made from agave sap. Traditionally, this is homemade. and sugar skulls, which have been adapted by Italian missionaries. It's just sugar pressed in molds and decorated with colors, and they can be very complex. In closing, El Dia de los Muertos is one of the most important holidays in the Mexican culture. I have covered history of El Dia de los Muertos, decorations and their meanings, and foods traditionally associated with the holiday. On April 10th, I asked you all if you knew what the Day of the Dead, or El Dia de los Muertos celebration is. 61% of you said yes, leaving the rest of you at a 39% at a no. Of these 18 students, a whopping 78% of you also gave a 3 or lower on a scale of 1 to 5, indicating how much you know about the celebration. Hopefully, after my speech today, 100% of you will leave with at least a 4.